Well, hi everyone, it's Marcus and welcome to more Zooming in the Jungle Room. I have got somebody very special online with me at the moment, sitting on his laptop via Zoom. I am talking to Damien Leith. Damien, how are you?
I am awesome. Yeah. Hey, thanks a million for this. Great to
Oh,
catch up.
my absolute pleasure. I'm so excited. We've got a little bit to cover off today, but mostly I'm very excited because you are well, you're going to be doing an Australian tour again and coming to Adelaide with Roy Orbison Orchestrated on the 10th of May, 2024, which is not far away, only a couple of months, playing Her Majesty's Theatre. I'm excited. Are you?
Oh, hey, I cannot wait. I love playing in Adelaide. So Adelaide's a favorite of mine. We've got family who live there, and so I go there anyway. But this particular show with a full orchestra, it's pretty special.
Let's talk about that orchestra because you have got, it is ridiculous, 35 world-class musicians on stage. That's a lot.
It is a lot. It's like a wall of sound. You're standing on the stage. Like for me personally, when I'm standing there and I'm singing, and I've got all of this noise, this like beautiful noise, just behind me. It's an amazing feeling. Really, it's always been on my wish list. I went to Ireland about 2 years ago, and I said, you know what? When I get back, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do an orchestra show because I've always wanted to do it. And yeah, it's happening. This is it. It's happening.
Is that the biggest band you've ever worked with? 35?
Well, absolutely. Well, for me, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, and I mean, and they're all amazing. It astounds me every time I get on stage and I see what these guys can actually do. I feel so inferior. I gotta say, you get these musicians who get on stage and they're just reading the music on the spot, and they're just amazing, amazing musicians, incredible.
And you play quite a bit yourself, obviously. I mean, we can see in the backgrounds there that you've got a keyboard, you've got your guitars back there. Do you enjoy playing the instruments also, as well as singing?
Oh, yeah, oh, absolutely. I love it. I mean, I would mainly, when I'm on stage, I generally play guitar. But if I'm at home, I've got the keyboard here, and we got an old piano in the other room. I love the feel of an old piano. There's nothing like that kind of, like, I mean, it's not even fully in tune, but I tell you, it's just a lovely feeling. It's just sitting down and coming up with ideas. I love it. That's my main pastime, no matter what.
So when's the last time you played in Adelaide?
Adelaide, maybe about 2 years ago. I think about 2 years ago, I played at the Barossa.
Ah,
Yeah, I played in the Barossa, and yeah, and it was brilliant. Like I say, I have family who live in Adelaide, so we kind of go visiting family. And every single time we do it, we always say, "Oh, gee, we should be doing a show while we're visiting," but it never works out like that.
yeah,
But anyway, we're back again, and I can't wait.
I love it. Hey, let's go back a little bit further. 2006, when you were on Australian Idol. Do you have fond memories of that time?
Too right, absolutely. It was amazing. First of all, 2006. It's 18 years. That's just, and
I
that's
mean, you
actually
were
hard to
12.
believe. 18 years.
You must have been
Yeah.
12 at the
What's
time.
that? Oh, yeah. I wish. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, who was the line? Do you remember who the line
the lineup.
that year?
Yeah. So that year, Jessica Mauboy, which
Oh,
beautiful Jessica Mauboy. She's just, an absolute fantastic. She's the darling of the industry as far as I'm concerned. She's just awesome. We've had Dean Geyer, Lisa Mitchell. There's somebody else, and the name's gonna. Who am I forgetting? There's somebody else. Anyway, there's a whole bunch. We were very lucky that year that it was a good cross section of all sorts of different styles. But the old fella came out on top, so the
here he
the way it
is.
works out.
And still kicking butt. Can you believe? I mean, we're 2 years short of 20 years for you, Damien, since the Australian Idol period. Massive. And you're still out there doing your stuff. Do you think that you would be doing what you are doing now without possibly that stepping stone of Australian Idol? Do you think you had it in you anyway?
You know what? I pushed really hard for years. So I started kind of really chasing after the dream of being a musician when I was about 17. So 17, and then 13 years later is when Idol happened. So 13, and Idol actually happened when I had a great full-time job. We had just had our first child at that stage. So
Wow.
I was kind of getting to a point where I thought, you know what, this isn't going to happen, you know, I'm content with the day job. And I think if it didn't happen, probably that would have been it. I would never have given up music. I would have gigged, I still would have done everything. But the idea of actually taking it to the next level, I think I was running out of time. So it came about just in time.
You know, everything works out the way it's meant to work out, doesn't it, Damien?
That's right. Absolutely. Actually, speaking of Adelaide, it was a good friend of mine from Adelaide, Alex Webster. She and her then boyfriend, they're the ones who actually convinced me to even do the audition in the first place. I bumped into them on a Saturday, and we were chatting, and they said, "Oh, what are you doing the weekend?" I said, you know, I was thinking of, you know, checking out the Idol auditions." And they're like, "No, you gotta go, you gotta go." And yeah, so there you go. See, I owe it to Adelaide. See, that's it. That's where the connection starts for me with Adelaide. Yeah,
it came through again.
Yeah, no.
Hey,
yeah, exactly.
In your entire career, even before Australian Idol, what's one of your biggest achievements? What are you most proud of so far?
Oh, gee, it's a hard question. You know, believe it or not, it's actually starting out, and like all musicians, the big achievements are kind of small things, really. Like I remember years ago, one of the biggest moments for me was when I had recorded my first ever demo song, and this is going right back to when I was about 18 years of age, and I went to a nightclub in Ireland, and we went up to nightclubs when you could do it back then, and I went up and said, "Hey, can you play this song?" You know, and they did, and even though that I know that seems minuscule, for us it was a big deal. Really, for me and for my band, it was a big deal to be there in this. It was like the biggest nightclub in the whole area, and then suddenly our song is playing there with everybody hearing it, and it was just like, oh wow, you know, there's a possibility of something actually happening there. And then as years went on, there's been loads, there's been lots of things. Working with, like, I'm doing this Roy Orbison show. I worked with Barbara Orbison, his wife, to record all those songs. That's my connection with Roy Orbison. It's the fact that I work with her. So there's been all these little things all the way along, but it's generally just the small, minute thing that kind of matters the most, which is funny, but it's just the way it is.
No, I get that totally. So look, 2006, obviously Australian Idol, you did do a version of Crying on the show, which caught the attention of, you were just saying then, Barbara Orbison. By that point, Roy had passed away. We all know that. But Barbara then was the executive producer, correct me if I'm wrong, of a tribute to Roy Orbison album that was done in 2011 and stayed in the top 20 arias for 22 weeks. But in that year as well, Barbara actually passed away, didn't she? So that must have been a crazy time for you.
It was, you know, it was the most bizarre thing. So she got in touch with the record company. I was with Sony at the time, and she said they were trying to put together an album to celebrate what would have been Roy's 75th birthday. And my name was floating around as being the person to record that album. So that in itself was just insane. I just thought, oh my God, how did that even happen? How would she even know that, you know, anything about me? But I went from there. I went over to Nashville. I recorded the album with her and a whole bunch of other people associated with Roy. And it was the last album she worked on. She was very private about being sick. She didn't tell a lot of people. And then she just went very quiet. You know, she'd been really involved in the album. The album came out, and it wasn't long afterwards where, she just went very quiet. Eye contact really dropped off. And then we all found out she was very sick. And sadly, she passed away on the same day that Roy Orbison passed away. On the exact same day, many years later.
Oh,
isn't that weird? That's so weird.
Life is crazy like that. And then you've worked with and are friends indeed with Joe Melson, who co-wrote Crying, Blue Bayou, and Only the Lonely. How are you enjoying that relationship, both personally and in a business way?
He's amazing. He's absolutely insane. Like, you know, like Crying, these sort of songs are in the Hall of Fame in America, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and you know they're now regarded as absolute classics. And to actually sit down with him every single week via Skype, via Skype every single week. He's in Nashville, I'm here, and he's just, there's a reason why he wrote those songs. He's so talented. You know, from his day, he would have been like the, I don't know, the Ryan Tedder of his day. You know, the way, like, from One Republic. You know, he was a hit maker. He was that guy of his day. He was the guy that he could just write these big songs, and off they went. So it's insane. It really is. I learned so much from the guy, and he's a lovely guy as well. He's old school. He's, you know, that southern drawl of America. He's just a lovely guy. Really, really good guy.
Hey, I'm going to throw a curveball at you. I've just thought of something. If there was a song floating around at the moment that you would love to cover, anybody's, it can be Taylor Swift, Harry Styles, whoever. Is there a song out there that you'd like? You know what? I reckon I could do that one. What would it be?
You know what? I'm actually a big Harry Styles fan. I would take on any of the Harry Styles songs. I think they're awesome. He's got a great voice. They're cool written songs. You know, every time I hear those songs, I'm like, yeah, geez, I wish I wrote that song. Yeah, I wouldn't even be fussy. I'm open to any of his songs. I think he's really, really cool. I've done one or two over the last while, just messing around at home. But I think he's awesome. He's a great performer. There's a couple of other guys roaming around as well. I love Lewis Capaldi. I would do his stuff as well. You know, he's angsty. We don't hear from him now. The poor guy's struggling a little bit, but no, very talented guy. Great voice. Really, really great voice.
And the reason I say that is because you have got a great voice, and I think why people resonate with you so much is because your voice is so versatile, and you know, we see you mold and you know, go down different paths, which is so enjoyable to watch as a spectator, I guess, as someone, you know, living their career. Hey, let's talk about Roy Orbison Orchestrated. What can we expect from the show when it hits Adelaide on the 10th of May?
It's an extravaganza. That's what you can expect. This thing is massive. It really and truly is. The orchestrations are brand new. This is not it's not taking old string parts from that are roaming around on the internet or anything like that. These I took on board this good friend of mine, Emma Greenhill. She's an amazing composer, and I said, listen, can you compose this show? We want these, like, they're like movie themes, just in between songs, you know, that link songs together. And it's insane what she's actually created. I gotta say, you know, I'm up there doing my thing, but really the music behind me is what's the most unbelievable thing. What she's created is just incredible. So aside from coming to see me, aside from coming to see Roy Orbison, the music itself is just, it's insane. It really is. For anyone who loves orchestral, beautiful music, you're in for a treat.
Have you played Her Majesty's Theatre before in Adelaide?
I played, I did, you know what, I did the Cabaret Festival many years ago, and I loved it. But they put me in a small part of it. So I have never actually done the room itself. I've never done Her Majesty's Theatre. I've done a kind of a sub room off it that they made into this lovely cabaret setup. I did a play in there, which was brilliant. I loved it. It was great.
You are going to love it because the whole place has been refurbed and just architecturally and materials and finishes, the place is absolutely stunning. You're going to love it.
Well, I cannot wait.
Well, I can't wait to get you over here to Adelaide. I'm coming to the show. I'm going to come and say hi backstage to you. And yeah, all the best with the tour. So when does the tour actually kick off?
That's actually going to be the first show of this tour. So these shows are kind of spread out. So then we'll take on, we've got Perth, we've got Tasmania, we'll be back to Sydney. So they're because they're such big shows, it's not something that you do all at once. So yeah, so we've spread it out over the year, but Adelaide's the first one.
Fantastic. I love that. We love being first off the rack. Damien, what an absolute pleasure talking to you. You're an absolute delight, and I cannot wait to see you in Adelaide just in a couple of months' time.
Brilliant. No, look, I really appreciate your time. I will see you there, and yes, we'll catch up before the show. Sounds good.
I look forward.